Thank you, Madam President. So I want to break this down today in a very real way for just not only folks here, but what a day in the life is like back home for me, okay? So I represent the city of Manassas Park, city of Manassas, Western Prince William County. Manassas Park is not Crystal City. It is not Roslyn. This is not McLean. This is not Great Falls. This is Manassas Park. It's about an hour outside of D.C. Right now in Manassas Park, a studio apartment, this 0-bedroom studio apartment right now is going for, in a given year, the rent over 12 months is $19,980. If you worked 40 hours a week at our current minimum wage right now, your pre-taxable income for the year is $24,960. That's just under $5,000 more than the rent that you're going to pay for the whole year there. And that does not include utilities. It doesn't include everything else. And then keep in mind, that's pre-tax. After taxes, after everything's said and done, not only if you were in this magical world where one income would allow you to even qualify to put in the application for this apartment, but there's not a chance you could actually afford this because this means that you're not eating throughout the year. So you then go to 2 wages. What happens at 2 wages? You get it to $49,920. Even then, you won't qualify for the apartment. You're going to have 3 wages at this. Now, if we get to $15 an hour, you can have 2 people qualify for that studio apartment. But again, I am telling you, 2 people, that's right, Senator from Botetourt, 2 folks, for a studio apartment. Now, here's the
senator must be careful.
Thank you. Madam President, what I would add to this is, when you think about this, this is not just teenagers working a summer job. This is real life. When I was 32 years old as an adult, after I transitioned, it became near impossible for me to find full-time work in my field in journalism, where I was going 1 for 36 in my applications. So what did I do with my $15 an hour for 30-hour-a-week job that paid no benefits or anything? I had to have a side job, $5 an hour plus tip, as a delivery driver at a time when Virginia's minimum wage was $7.25 an hour. Almost every person working in that restaurant was an adult. There was, I think, 1 person who was 17. All of us were working. I was putting in 12-hour days. We weren't getting overtime for this. And in fact, if you didn't have a delivery in an hour, then guess what? Your wage was $5 that hour, and hope it evened out by the end of the day. If you're putting in your time, you're putting in your work, I hope all 40 of us agree that if you put in your 40 hours a week, you should be able to afford a studio apartment in a place where you want to live in Virginia. In my district, that's impossible. You can't. It's not there. When I'm using Manassas Park as my metric, I'm not talking Haymarket. I'm not talking about a gated community in Gainesville. I'm not talking about even the city of Manassas. I'm talking about Manassas Park. You can't afford an apartment on this. $15 an hour makes it a little more achievable to get there.
So we live in a capitalist society. We're not socialist. If you increase the minimum wage without merit, they're just going to pass that cost on to the consumer, and it's going to be higher to afford those places in Northern Virginia. You look at McDonald's, they're going to start automating a lot of the jobs, and you'll have less jobs. So it should be based on free market competition. If your boss doesn't pay you enough, move to another place where they do. And the way you get value is not the government telling you what to pay a person. The way you get value is by being competent, putting the hours in. And then I know as a employer myself, if you show up early, you leave late, and you work harder than everyone else, I'm going to continue to give you pay raises because I don't want to lose you. It should be merit-based. We're not a social society. It should not be based on what the government tells you to pay. It's going to cost everybody in the long run if you do that, and it's going to continue to make our economy go in the wrong direction. So I ask you vote no on the bill.
I guess I asked my colleagues who were showing such anxious opposition to this bill to perhaps look at your bottom line a little more comprehensively. There's actually a Nobel laureate, George Akerlof, who studied the impact of raising the minimum wage on small businesses and their bottom line. And he concluded that actually raising the minimum wage increases productivity. The statement is to your employee, you are valued. Your employee has less pressure meeting day-to-day bills, has more time to focus on his or her activity at your workplace. There's lower turnover if an employee has a stronger economic safety net under him, because of course he is being more productive. The employer has less recruiting costs, less training costs. You all know that is certainly a big factor in running a business. We've all experienced that. And the bottom line is that this helps everybody. This equalizes the playing field. If you pass the minimum wage, what you're saying is that's the law for everybody. That's the threshold. That's the baseline. That to me says work matters. We all value work. We have said on this Senate floor multiple times, let's pass incentives to get people to work. Let's help people stay working. This is one of those measures. This is a measure that would make it worth people's while to work, to give them pride, to be able to pay for their bills and support their family. This is a pro-family measure. This is a pro-worker measure.
Ayes 21, noes 19. The bill passes.